But glad to be back. Happy Thursday, everybody. Um, what a what a week, eh? Yeah, yesterday we had the inflation announcement come out, way higher than anybody expected, and ultimately resulting in not really anything. No, bit of reaction, instant reaction, knee-jerk reaction, but a lot of uncertainty, a lot of doubt, a lot of surprises, a lot of conversation, and a lot of noise. It was really funny because whilst that was coming out, I was on a blog right after the announcement came out. I had a podcast with Daniel DiMartino Booth, and you'll see that on the Super Excited channel that we're building out, where we're really talking to in depth with some key macro influencers and other individuals. And then right after that, I got invited by Bill Baryard, who is the founder of Abra and longtime crypto, really been in this space for a long time. And Vinny Lingham, another OG in the space, founder of, oh, what was it? It was a social uh, identity platform. And since then, big OG in this space as well, big investor. And so they held the spaces really around these numbers and what does it mean. Anyway, I'll come into that and go a bit into that, share with you our interpretations of that. At the same time, yeah, welcome back. Thursday, Stefan Roost, founder and CEO of Laguna Labs. We're the developers and we build Truflation.com as well as the Truth Network. The Truth Network is the architecture underlying underlying Truflation. It provides the oracle and the calculation agent for Truflation, where it ensures accuracy associated with the index calculations that take place, as well as the verification and hosting of the data sets used for those calculations. Yeah, so that's the Truth Network. I think a lot of you were also asking in the community, we're asking about Truflation and let me just get my bearings here. What is Truflation? What is Truth Network? What's this rebranding? Why are we doing this? Etc. And so I just wanted to share with you a post that we put out earlier on this topic, just to help clarify. We really felt that if you can understand it, how can anybody else understand it? We've got a large investor pool. A lot of you have been asking about it, and so we just really wanted to share a bit of insights around this. Truth Network, what is it? Right, it's a decentralized ecosystem for user-generated finance. Right, what is user-generated finance? It's really developers building on top of the new rails, and they need data sets for that. So the Truth Network is an RWA repository for economic and financial data. So that is available there. It is it's a decentralized Postgres database using SQL smart contracts to verify, authenticate that data sets. It is highly tuned towards streaming fast and easy data sets, as well as using the compute in order to calculate indexes and lots of indexes. That's really what we're trying to build out and develop. And so why are we doing this, right? Why is Truflation creating the Truth Network? Well, 3 years ago, we launched Truflation, maybe nearly 4 years ago now. It was a bold vision, bring transparency and accuracy to inflation metrics. So we wanted to see true inflation. And what we saw was our platform was evolving in two separate directions. One was all the data insights and financial clarity that it was providing around inflation and all the underlying data sets associated with that, which you see when you go to Truflation.com. As well as behind that, there was a huge infrastructure development that was taking place in order to bring those data sets onto the blockchain, provide the transparency and the calculations in a open method, and ensure accuracy in the methodology. And how do we do that? And in order to do that, we needed the right kind of teams to be able to build that out and develop on that. And that became a huge task. We, at the same time, were composing and aggregating over 100 million data points, 3 price feeds per data point. And we were doing that in real time. And we needed to make sure it was composable, it was verified, and it was decentralized, and it remained transparent. And so all of those elements we needed to build out, and that required a huge set of infrastructure that you can trust and you can get visibility into. So as we grew over time and time, you know, we were seeing more and more people wanting to get access to the infrastructure and the data on the one hand. And then on the other hand, we had a whole different constituent that were interested only in the metrics, in the inflation data, in that financial clarity. And so that led us to very clearly and have very two clearly distinguished and distinguishable user demographics. And how do we build a front end and user experience for both of those? The financial engineers wanting inflation data didn't want to learn about infrastructure and tokens and governance and all of that. They just wanted the numbers. They wanted to be able to crunch the numbers. They wanted to be simply downloading the numbers. They wanted to be able to verify that. They wanted to find it in Explorer. And if for those that wanted to learn more, the financial engineers that were working in the database space, that were using APIs, they wanted to get access and understand how they could get access. And they would then go to a different platform to do that. And that was the Truth Network. So engineers, especially in the Web3 and the Web2 world, that were building out fintech solutions or wanted the data sets integrated into their Snowflake data lakes and things like that, those or Web3 developers around layer ones, layer twos, blockchains, DeFi, lending protocols, etc. They were looking to get the feeds either as a webhook or on RPC or through the chains themselves. And so that's why we built out Truth.network. And we had Truflation. So we could very clearly distinguish the two, and people could go to those front ends and experience and get what they needed right away. And so Truth Network was born. And ultimately, that's what you see when you go to Truth Network. And that ties the utility of the Truth token back to the Truth Network. People supplying data get paid in Truth. People consuming the data, they pay in Truth. Super easy. Stakers and node operators stake Truth. Users can stake Truth with node operators. And we are now focused on the Truth Network side to grow the transactions. That's what matters. Velocity of the Truth token is tied to the volume of transactions and number of holders. Truflation, on the other hand, is about subscribers. And we've already seen the market reward both developments because of that clear distinction and simple navigation and very quick discovery of what people are looking for. Signups in Truflation.com are up. We've had amazing traction just alone in the last couple of days, and we've seen the same at Truth Network. New protocols interested in getting into the data, interested in building out other indexes, interested in seeing them deployed, interested in getting interesting new products onto their dexes. So that interest has grown as well. So those are two new business development activities that we will be focusing on as they relate to the respective constituents on the Truth Network side and on the Truflation side. So here you can see a bit of a breakdown. I've shared this with you many times. Those online, you've seen that and everything. So that's already there and live. What are the features, right? Data processing, real-time economic data, advanced calculation capabilities. Those are all things that are now, and I've just talked about, available on the Truth Network for anybody there. Why this matters, right? So again, it's about the Truth token. We want value and utility associated with tokens. So staking, governance, and fees. Super easy. Those are the three triangles as they relate for the Truth token and what the Truth token is for. We are announcing $1 million ecosystem fund for people building on the Truth network. We've already seeded Nuon. We've talked about that. We talked with Cam. He's already building around that. Index.fund. Anybody can go to Index.fund and create an index. Next week, Sam will be on the show and tell us about Index.fund and what's happening there. Maybe we can get Lucas to join as well. And then we have Sphinx. Sphinx is a team building commodity trading available on chain using new rails. And enabling the trading of energy. So really good time. Energy is a hot topic right now, and that's why we supported them and are working very closely with the team over there. So that's really the big picture. It's an evolution of where we've come from, and that's why we've built the two. Hopefully this clarifies a lot of the questions that you've had in the community. I just felt it was important for us to document this and hope this resonates with you and makes sense. Yeah, I just wanted to share that. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Bro, get decent market makers, lol. You get, dude, man. You get S tag on KuCoin if you don't have at least 100K daily volume. Yeah, look, we're working with the market makers. Don't think I'm sitting back and relaxing. You can see I'm here twice a week, trying to share with you what we're doing. But we hear you, bro, and we're working on it. But if you ask all the time, every time you come on, yeah, I just won't take you serious anymore because there's only so much we can do. The whole community's out. I think we've got everybody interested in the Truth token right now. And most people are hodling and staking. We're getting staking is growing and growing and growing. So people really believe in the protocol. And yeah, we're at the bottom. There's how much lower can we go? There's no way. This is so undervalued. All of this data sets, all of the partnerships that we've got, we're building in this industry. We are acquiring developers in this industry. We are seeing transactions on chain in this industry. And we have some really cool ideas and products that are building around that. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. I'm not going to talk about that anymore, man. Thanks. Keep building. That's what we're doing. Yeah, look, so, I mean, we could go to war. Why don't we all pack our bags and go to Ukraine? Because it seems like a lot of people in Europe like to go to war. They still want to stand up and fight for egos, but nobody wants to actually go to the war and actually experience what it's like out there. I don't know, man. There's a lot of debate out there. I don't mean to be rude, and I definitely don't want to go to war. I just want the war to end, but there seems to be continuous debate around what's going on out there in the marketplace. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm trying to find all my content that I prepared for you. Great. And this is what I wanted to highlight. Yeah, this lady here. Yeah. So unfortunately, this lady here, no deal with Europe, right? You can't work without Europe. We're going to go to war. So despite the fact that people actually want to try and negotiate a peace, they're not even conversing with the counterparties. There's no negotiation at the table. And sorry, I just want end of war. 1.5 million people already killed. I think we need to actually rip down these guys who are actually sitting up on a pedestal and dictating how people should go and get killed, youth, young people, and they have no money. They claim to have money. We give everything away. They can't fix their own markets. There's war going on in the streets in their own countries across Europe. But no, let's go and create more war in other parts that distract. And what I love about what's going on in Doge, we're seeing so much information coming out, how much corruption is actually taking place in these governments. There is zero transparency. And that's why the blockchain is such a great platform. That's where people get insights. That's where we learn. We see the transparency. We can follow hackers anywhere. We can follow all their money around the world. We can follow anybody, whether they're spending it. What are they spending it on? And that's the beauty of the blockchain. And that's why Doge wants to implement these activities on the blockchain. Why? We can then actually, everybody can see it, and not just people that have to sleuth, use AI technologies, follow and trace the money through centralized closed platforms, and not know who the recipient parties are. We can actually see it all on chain. And that's the transparency that we're trying to bring with financial data. And the problem with the financial data and the economic data is every January, as we mentioned, the BLS changes its methodology. So they come out in February, but they don't tell you about it. Again, intransparent, behind closed rooms. They take out, things like transportation, housing. They misrepresent the fact that people are staying in hotels and it's super expensive. Why? Of course, if we have hurricane season and then we have a fire in LA, where are people going to go? They're going to go to hotels. What happens in hotels? They charge higher prices because we're overwhelmed with people wanting hotel rooms. Prices go up a little bit. People want to buy secondhand cars because their cars were burnt. They were flooded. So they need to buy secondhand cars. So there's a greater demand in secondhand cars. Those are things that happened in the report. And because the BLS is using 6-month-old real estate data, they're behind. And that's why they see a 3% inflation for the month of January, whereas Truflation sees a 2.07%. And there's a reason for that, because we use real-time data. And I mentioned really early on in the conversation that I had a call with Danielle DiMartino Booth, former Fed, and I'm not sure what her title is really, but super out there. You can see her on NASDAQ, follow her. She has a very big newsletter, super knowledgeable, very well connected in this space, and is traveling all the time. So on the ground, feeling what's going on and experiencing, as well as writing and having a team doing a lot of research. So she has the weekly that comes out on Quill. You can follow her on Substack and find out. So she goes in and created this whole newsletter, February 12th. You can see it, just came out yesterday. Really around, called the Inflationista Illuminati. So anyway, it's a great report. I'm not allowed to share it to you, but I'm sharing you the headline. You can go sign up and read, but it's really in detailed. I think it's 11 pages, as you can see here. But yeah, in essence, what is she saying and what is she confirming? She's confirming very much what we had been talking about at what I've just been talking about right now, what's been going on, right? And why is this always different? And what is the problem there, right? We're seeing there's a lag in the inflation numbers that's coming out, right? So there's seasonal adjustment that the BLS takes into account. And the media obviously is just driving that narrative, right? So they're honing in on that. They want to see volatility. They want to see turmoil. And ultimately, what is coming in? I mean, there's definitely also some political bias with the University of Michigan Consumer Survey, right? So when we went through the presentation on Tuesday, when was it? Tuesday, yeah, we went through the presentation. I shared that with you. And inflation report, here we go. Yeah, you can see here. Let me just share this with you again. Where are you guys? I've got hundreds of tabs open, so you're gonna have to bear with me. But here I can, here is the report, right? So here on this slide, I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in, zoom. Here you go, right? So you can see right here, this is actually, let me zoom out a little, minus, let's go down to maybe 200%. Yeah, so here you can see consumer inflation expectation. So there is the University of Michigan expected inflation rate. So this is a consumer survey that goes out where they survey consumers, right? So they're asking questions. Is that the real sentiment? I don't know. They're surveying people. And you can see a huge spike in that survey, and a lot of people are referencing that. So what does that mean, that survey, right? What is that? How does that impact itself? How is that driving the activity? And we talked about that at length, right? So yeah, you can see people are still not sure, a lot of uncertainty of where this is going, right? And so last night, I mentioned I was on with Vinny Lingham and with Bill Barrett, and look, you can see here, there's a still ongoing conversation just 3 hours ago, even after 1 hour of discussion. So Powell, now that you think about your move, right? And so what are they talking about here? They're talking about the move of dropping interest rates too early, ultimately driving up inflation again. So as soon as he dropped the interest rates, the result of the 3.0 is due to that drop in interest rates. But there are still a lot of businesses that have shut down, and so where's this going, right? And so Koblesi did a big and then so Bill comes in. These are all trailing indicators, and we would 100% agree that these are trailing indicators. Truflation will tell you that they are trailing indicators, right? So you can go to truflation.com and you can see what we have, 2.06%, right? So look here, this is the aggregate. I can switch to year on year. Boom, look at that drop that we've had recently. Why do we have that drop? Well, basically because the hangover of the holiday, and you can see that it's in hotels dropping, people not traveling anymore. Look at the food and beverage has come down a little bit, right? But it's not the food. Oh, it's a food away from home, right? People aren't going out that much. That's where the drop's coming. Food at home, also a little bit, right? But food has come down other than eggs. Eggflation is still strong. But you think about it, right? Eggs, 12 eggs, then maybe they cost you $8. You divide that by 60 cents an egg. The nutrition value in an egg versus going to a Starbucks and buying a coffee that costs you $3 and you're paying 60 cents for a nutritional egg that gives you calories, gives you fat, gives you protein, versus an empty cup of coffee costing you $3-4, depending which state you're in or which city you live in. Yeah, so I think eggflation is definitely an issue. I think housing, though, look at the other lodgings. I mean, look at that drop, bang, right? That's what's come down, and that's driving the cost down from an inflation spec. This is real time. And as you know, we've been working on trying to increase and improve our prediction capability. And you can now actually get Truflation on TradingView. And one of our team members has actually gone in, and Rodrigo, and gone in and tested out what that actually looks like and done some analysis. Based on the tear sheet that we've prepared and we've shared with everybody, this is publicly available now. You can see up here the accuracy of our prediction. And you can see in here, we never talk about January. We never talk about January. I don't know what I'm doing. Hang on, control. I don't want to do anything like that. What I want to do is zoom in for you guys so you can see. Like here, you can see we never do January. January, no January. January, no January. Right? But you can see now, if you combine over the last 12 months, we have a 0.06% deviation from in our prediction capability. And why? Because we have an average 45-day lead time. And what our studies or our technical analysis has shown is that we've seen a big trend drop right where the red dot is here. If you can see this, right where the red dot is, a big trend drop. So drop down. So if we take 42 days from there, we now see, again, remember the BLS comes out every month. So they're slow. But anyway, they're coming out. They announced their numbers. And look, it's 42 days from when we saw the trend to when the next report comes out. So let's see what happens. The market is 100% for sure not anticipating a bigger drop, right? And so not only are we identifying this and doing the analysis, look at Andreas Steno Larsen. He's doing an analysis here, right? Trade inflation. He sees the spread, right? So he's seeing the difference here. Um, you know, so what does this mean? And a lot of people chiming in. The market definitely does not anticipate, right? Always Truflation, right? Yeah. So you can read all the comments. I mean, it's growing. A lot of people are chiming in onto these conversations. So it's really nice to see that ultimately, we're at the center of the debate and a lot of conversation around there. You also see Koblesi letter, right? So he's actually seeing an increase, right? He thinks the market is actually forecasting expectation of inflation up to 4.3%. We've said all along that 3 is the new 2. But that is further in the year. In January, there is always a big drop. And we see that continuing, coming down. We will see a change over time. Let's see how that evolves. But yeah, we definitely see the Fed numbers have to come down. It's just not accurate. We just can't believe those numbers, especially when they change the methodology. And Oliver will share with us next week all of those changes and what those methodological changes are, why they come about, and how they do those. So yeah, really good post here by the Koblesi, a letter. If you're not following it, you like macro, this is one to watch. He goes into, we are here. He thinks we're going back to the 1970s. Yeah, and you can see here, PPI is up, December core PPI. People think this was manipulated to give Trump a specifically hard time. I don't know. But either way, I just don't think these data sets are accurate. They're antiquated. They're using old, stale data. So actually, it just becomes irrelevant. And who cares, yeah, I think from an economic standpoint, I think the bigger issue is, number one, if you look at money supply, M2 out there, and I think we talked about it on Tuesday, it has stayed, there's no new money print to go burr. The first thing they're going to do is drop interest rates, but where money will be coming from is from China. China is at 0% interest. China has a lot of the world's manufacturing capability. China will debase its currency in order to get exports going and be able to fund the tariffs. So the tariffs aren't really going to have an impact. They're going to increase the budget in the US, which is great, and clean up the balance sheet, which is what's needed. But in the end, as the Dixie, which we talked about again on Tuesday, is still so high, we're going to see a lot of interesting, more money get printed. Maybe inflation comes to China. Maybe that is what's happening when they print more money. But you're seeing, especially in the real estate sector, it's really struggling in China. So there's going to be a lot of problems there. But in the US, again, coming back to the 3.0 narrative, I don't think that inflation, the way the BLS reported it yesterday, is accurate, right? We think they're saying that prices in housing is growing, but we're seeing actually in certain parts in the Midwest, there's a lot of development taking place. There's a lot of new markets, housing coming in, and places like Austin, you've got a 16 to 20% drop in rent prices and the cost of housing. And you can see that on Parcel. So if you go to parcel.com, our partner, who we work with on Parcel. Come on, where's Parcel? Great app. It's all about synthetic real estate, and you can trade here, right? So look, wow, here you can go to Miami Beach, share this tab. It's like another prediction market. So let's go to Austin. Let's see, where's Austin? Austin, bang. here. Oh, it's up 3.6. So people are believing that the market will pick up here. Look, interesting. It's snowing there. But if you look over historically, let's go look at maybe the last year. You can see overall it's significantly down. So real estate has been coming down in those markets. And these are synthetic markets. This is where people feel and want. So this is future. Again, it helps you with the prediction. Where is the market going? How's it evolving in that direction? So those are things to look out for. Always interesting to watch and maintain. Yeah, but I think those are some of the insights that I wanted to share with you. Sign up to Danielle's by Quill from Danielle DiMartino. Check out Kobesi letter. Sorry, follow that if you want, and then also check out Parcel. Play around with Parcel. Yeah, their data is available in the Truth Network, and we're really excited to be working with them. And yeah, we think that, again, another interesting protocol on the Truth Network with real-time data that also allows not only Truflation to work with real-time data feeds, but also anybody else can go and work with these data sets and build other products around it. Anyway, that's it today. A bit everywhere, but there's so much turmoil going on, and we talked about days of thunder. In the first 100 days, there is a lot of thunder going on. It's super exciting times. It's just keeping the heads up. It's going to be a lot of opportunity coming in. There's definitely a huge pent-up demand. People are looking to find opportunities in areas of investments, and obviously crypto is going to be a big category. AI, I did a really good podcast with Jihan Chu yesterday, founder of Kinetic Family Office, one of the earliest investors into Ethereum, and also into Polkadot and a whole bunch of other companies. I think he has 300 active investments, no LPs, all his own money. Super smart guy. We were talking about AI. Where is AI going? How is that going to impact all the investments? Where can you invest in AI? Unless you're a mega VC investing in mega big opportunities, it's really hard to participate in AI because it's so many different applications out there. Which application do you invest in? How do you exit on those? Maybe cookies, virtuals. Maybe you go into those platforms and use those to be able to play around and invest in. But you're seeing that in the healthcare sector. We see huge opportunity in healthcare. Where is healthcare going? We're seeing a whole bunch of sciences that have moved offshore, now coming back onshore. There will be new regulation changes in the healthcare category. What does that mean? What type of healthcare? Hyper-personalized healthcare. Peptides, stem cells, all of those will now be available in the US, on the US ground, at a far greater cost, reduced cost, because ultimately you got economies of scale. All of those studies, all of those learnings can now be deducted and used. Those are huge amount of opportunity. Energy, data centers, those are all categories that are going to be growing. How do you invest in those? Where do you invest? So those are areas of opportunity. Do your research in those categories. We talk about a number of companies on these shows that are doing interesting things in those categories. But overall, gold is at its all-time high. We talked about that on the last call. Now, gold is still an all-time high, but what's the new gold? Where's the new gold? It's in crypto, right? Everybody's investing in Bitcoin, but you can see Goldman Sachs did a huge investment in here. Let's go. Where did he did a huge? They did Goldman Sachs, Ethereum. They bought a whole bunch of Ethereum to support their ETH here. Here, there you go. Biggest, yeah, here, share this tab. Here, breaking. The biggest US bank, Goldman Sachs, with 2.8 trillion, just bought 450 million of Ethereum ETF. Okay, still tiny, only 450 million, but it's still a significant step. Now, guess what? Somebody's going to do the same in Solana. You're going to see the same in Sui. You're going to see the same in Aptos. You're going to see the same in BitTensor. You're going to see Render. You're going to see all these different token assets. All of a sudden, people are going to realize, wow, there's number one, a huge opportunity of innovation taking place. Number two, these are all mark to market every day. These are all assets that can be traded all the time, anytime. So that's really what's going to be exciting. And I think that's really what's going to drive the future of the growth. And once people see a little bit more of stability, you saw Euro go up already. Why? Because they're believing in hope, or they're hoping that the war will end. If the war ends, then ultimately there's going to be more prosperity, different type of prosperity. We're going to be talking to each other. We're going to be trading with each other, and we're going to be communicating with each other. As we communicate with each other, we learn about each other. We negotiate. All of those elements will help drive a better planet and create more trade again, maybe bilateral trade more, reciprocity. That's the way forward, right? You've heard in my podcasts, and I did a really good podcast with Epoch TV, where we talked about how China managed to build a lot of its infrastructure, its innovation, the processes that they have today, very intelligently by creating joint venture structures. All of that you'll watch in there. There's so much content that we've been creating, and we've been super busy, not only building, but also on the marketing and creating awareness and credibility. Epoch TV coming out, podcast with Danielle, podcast with Jihan. We just saw, sign up to the YouTube channel and follow Truth Network. Follow us on these channels. Why? Because you're going to get so much information. You can watch it in the podcast when you're skiing, when you're in the bus, when you're on the underground, when you're in a sauna, when you're at a red light, when you're having an IV drip, whatever you're doing, in the gym. I listen to all my podcasts in the gym every morning, 5:45. You can meet me there, and we can do some weights, or we can do some cardio. I love rowing and love cycling, spinning. And then on the weekends, we'll do some CrossFit. So a bit more, bit of weights and cardio. Anyway, that's it. Keep it short. It's 36 minutes, much longer than the 20 minutes that I'm trying to keep it to, and the team are telling me to keep it to. But I've got some really important calls, and I'm going to jump on those. So thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this, and talk to you later. Bye for now. I totally forgot I had these calls. Whoops. I'm going. See you guys. That's how much I love keeping you up to date on what we're doing.